Good morning, family, and welcome to the Elm Grove Baptist Church virtual worship experience. You know the condition that we are under. You know what's going on in our country. And so we thought it wise to follow the instructions of our state and local government officials, our community partners, that we should not congregate. But I thank God for you that you would share with us in this time that we can come together via technology. Man, I appreciate every one of you. I want you to do me a favor, though. Listen, you know some people who are not connected with us right now. Go on and text them. Give them a call. Let them know they need to be a part of this broadcast. We may not be in the same building, but I believe God still moves. I believe the word is still powerful. And I think that you can get some answers to some situations and circumstances in your life, even if you have to do it through technical means. I thank God that my brother, my friend, even my personal physician, the hip-hop doc, Dr. Rani Whitfield, is with us today, and you'll be hearing from him before we close this worship experience. Again, man, I hope you're letting them know, tune in. You need to be connected. You need to hear the word that God is going to give us today. Come on, I'm going to give you a second. Go on and connect them. Go on and make them know. Get up out of that bed and come and hear what Pastor Domingue has to say to us on this morning. Listen, I don't want to waste your time, so let's get right into the word, the message for today. Man, I prayed about this because I know this is a critical time. I wanted God to speak to us in an encouraging way. And I got to let you know, in preparation, I was getting happy myself. In preparation, man, in my prayer time and study time, God was revealing to me. So I want to impart to you what he shared to me. It comes from a very familiar but encouraging passage of Scripture. In fact, some of you probably have already been meditating on this word. It comes from Isaiah chapter 40, verses 27 through 31. Isaiah chapter 40, verses 27 through 31. At Elm Grove, we read the New King James Version, but whatever version you have is cool with us as long as Jesus is the Christ in your sacred scriptures. But check this out according to the New King James Version. It says, this is God speaking through the prophet. Why do you say, O Jacob, and speak, O Israel, my way is hidden from the Lord, and my just claim is passed over by my God. Have you not known? Have you not heard? The everlasting God, the Lord, the creator of the ends of the earth, neither faints nor is weary. His understanding is unsearchable. He gives power to the weak, and to those who have no might, he increases strength. Even the youth shall faint and be weary, and the young men shall utterly fall. This is the part we like. But those who wait on the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings like eagles. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint. That's all I want to talk about today. I want to talk about this idea of God giving power and might. God giving us power and might. Check it. You know, I have to give you the historical context of it all. Israel is in exile. In the real sense, they are in a wilderness called Babylon. Now, you know, we already know something about wilderness from our own personal experiences. In fact, some of us right now will say that we are dealing with a wilderness type situation with this COVID-19 going across our country. You know the wilderness, don't you? It's a time where the greedy take advantage of those who need. You know the wilderness, don't you? The wilderness is that place where those who have hoard what they have, put out just a little bit, so those who need will fight over the little bit that's out there. You know the wilderness, don't you? It's a time where your haters and your enemies circle around you, not necessarily to attack you, but to watch you to see when you will fall and faint. You know the wilderness, wilderness, don't you? It can be a lonely place, a desperate place, a place where the people of God don't necessarily know exactly where they are because the faces and the places don't seem familiar to them. Israel is in a wilderness situation, but it is in the middle of the wilderness, in the midst of their situation, that God begins to speak to them through somebody called Second Isaiah. Check what God says. In the wilderness, the people have grown numb. In the wilderness, the people say, God has forgotten all about us. There's no way we can get any justice. And God sends a word through the prophet that says, listen, I have not forgotten about you. I'm watching you. I'm checking you out. In fact, God says, have you not known and have you not heard that I'm still God? I'm still in control. God runs down his resume so that they would know who he is and what he does. God runs down his resume to remind them that he is still sovereign and there's nothing or no one in charge but God. I need to pause right there because some of us think that humans run our lives. I want to remind you that our God is still in control no matter what disease is out there. God is still in control no matter who's trying to take advantage. God is still in control no matter what's happening in your personal walk or even what's happening in your house. Have you not known and have you not heard? So check the good news. God says, here's what I'm going to do. You are going to watch your wilderness, Babylon, fall in front of you. In fact, Babylon was the most powerful nation in the world. And God said all of their military might, their famous and infamous hanging gardens, all of their civic and civil inspiration, all that they'd come up with, God says, now all of that's going to fall in your face. So get yourself together. Get ready to go back to the place that's familiar to you. Go back to your home. And here's what he says. I know you're going to make it because God gives power and God gives might. Don't miss that. It says that God gives power and God will increase strength. I like that because power suggests that God will make you a force and give you what you need to get what you want. Don't miss that. God will give you what you need to get what you want. It suggests to us that God means in our lives that whatever we want to accomplish according to his will, God will give us the capacity to do so. Not only so, but the Lord said, I'm going to increase your strength. Now, most of the time we think of strength as muscle. No, when God says strength, God says, I'm increasing your support. Get it? God's going to make you a force, give you the capacity, and as you need it, God will increase his support for you. So when you're feeling weak, he says, I got you. When you're feeling like you can't make it, God says, I got you. When you don't have enough of what you need, God says, I got you, because God is going to support us even at a time like this. Now, I got to leave you with this one. Check it. The book says that they will mount up with wings like eagles. Now, you know, I'm a preacher, so I can't let this go without mentioning the eagles. I know you've heard a lot of analogies about chickens and eagles. I like the fact that the text says like eagles. You may not necessarily be an eagle, but you can surely act like an eagle. Let me give you 4 and I'll give you the deuces. 1, I recognize that eagles fly high. So it suggests to us that even in difficult times, you don't have time to be clucking and pecking on the ground like the chickens. You don't have time to be involved in pettiness and foolishness like the chickens. It's time for us who know the Lord, time for us who know the word, time for us who have vision to fly high. That's the second thing. Chickens fly high. Chickens fly high. Not only do they fly high, the second thing is eagles operate by vision. Eagles operate by vision. I need to go back. Eagles fly high and eagles operate by vision. That is, eagles are able to see their prey from miles away. And I would suggest to you that you have seen some things in the future that you need to go for, baby. Operate by vision. Third thing, eagles are fearless. They don't run from anything. Eagles don't run from haters. Eagles don't run from storms. Eagles don't run from anything. They attack larger prey in order to accomplish. They ain't scared of nothing. And as believers, that ought to be our testimony. As long as God is on my side, I ain't scared of nothing. Last one I need to tell you is that eagles train their young, their children, to be eagles. Act like an eagle, think like an eagle, fly like an eagle. In fact, when a young eagle won't fly, the mother will tear up the next nest just so that eaglet will learn to fly like an eagle. That's all I got for you, man. God is going to increase, and God is going to give us what we need at a moment like this. Peace.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having me. It's truly a blessing to be here, and hopefully I can share some information with you that will ease some of the panic that's going on in our state, our country, our world at this current time. So we've all heard about this coronavirus, or COVID-19, and the name came from corona, V, virus, D, disease, and 19, the year that it was discovered. Many of you have been sharing memes or information online with Lysol bottles that have human coronavirus on it. Some say human coronavirus 229PE, I think it might be. So human coronaviruses have been around for a while. There was the SARS virus, which is a form of coronavirus. There was also MERS virus that came out, I think it was in 2003. So these viruses have been around for some time, but this is a different strain. So what you're hearing is a novel virus that now has a name, COVID-19. To take some of the stigma away from it, we don't want to say it came from a certain place. One of the parts of the research is finding out where this virus came from. So I want to talk a little bit about what this is, what we might expect, and what we should do mainly to protect ourselves and our loved ones. And that's part of the reason why we're not having the congregation here today. There's something called social distancing, where we want to not be all in one place. Some people are infected and don't have the symptoms, and they could potentially infect us all. So again, COVID-19 is a respiratory illness and can affect the lungs severely, from very mild symptoms to causing pneumonias and even death. When we look at how does it spread, we believe that the coronavirus is a COVID-19 is spread via respiratory droplets. So if you're coughing, if you cough and those droplets get on different parts, say they're in the congregation, they get on the pews, it can live for as long as 9 minutes up to 24 hours. So it's very, very important that we clean surfaces, that if we are coughing, that we use the precautions that we should, coughing into an elbow, try not to cough around people. But if you're feeling sick and you're having these symptoms, to avoid large congregations of people, because again, it can spread. You may not feel very bad, but you can also spread the virus to other people. And particularly, we need to look at the point of entry. Where does this virus enter our bodies? If we're coughing and these particulate matter are floating through the air, and you've seen it when the sun is shining through your windows and you see all this stuff in the air, it's just floating around. Those are droplets. And again, those droplets can deposit themselves on furniture or on the pews. And so if you're touching those things, you can spread them to other people. Who is at most risk for spreading this virus or catching this virus? We're truly, truly concerned about people that are over the age of 60, people that have severe health problems. Our children tend not to be at risk unless they have severe health problems, but they can get the virus and can be a petri dish, as I say. My son RJ has been sick for the last 6 months with RSV and croup and that types of thing, because he's around a lot of children and they get into a lot of things. But they can be the petri dish to bring that home to you. So they can actually be infected with the coronavirus but have very, very mild symptoms. We'll bring that home to our grandparents who may have health issues that could put them at risk for dying as well. Some of the symptoms that you might see include fever, cough, cold, congestion, body aches. And unfortunately, the coronavirus looks very, very like the flu. So when someone comes into my office with flu-like symptoms, particularly now that we know that the COVID virus exists, the first thing I'm encouraging them to do is not to come to my office. And so we've implemented what we call telemedicine visits, so that you can call in. If you have that technology, I can see you on the phone, you can present the symptoms. We can send those medications that we might need to a pharmacy, and then you're gonna have to come in the office and expose others to the potential virus. Should I wear a face mask? Face mask is a little bit overkill, and we need the face mask particularly for our healthcare providers. So I'm not only protecting the congregation, I'm not only protecting my family, but I need to protect healthcare workers so someone can be there to treat you in the event that you do get the infection. The particular mask that people are using is called N95. 95% of airborne droplets can be prevented from coming in wearing this mask, but again, it's really not recommended unless you have the symptoms and you're in a family setting where other people could be exposed, or your healthcare provider. What should I do if I've been exposed? And I've gotten this phone call several times this weekend. I'm on call, and many people have very mild symptoms. Doc, I got a scratchy throat. I'm a little tired, a little fatigued, a little achy. I'm encouraging you not to go to the office, not to go to the hospital. There's testing available in hospitals and certain clinics, but that is a process, and it's not that you just walk in and say, hey, I got coronavirus and I can get tested. We do have swabs for influenza A and B. We have swabs for strep throat. The coronavirus swab is very expensive and not readily available in all clinics and or hospitals. So before you make that move, call your hospital, call your physician to see if you even need to come in. If your symptoms are mild, they can be treated at home, and it has to run its course. One scary thing again about the coronavirus is its incubation period. So you could have the infection, you could be a carrier of the infection for 4 to 5 days and be asymptomatic. So that means you came to church today, everybody's fine, you could have coughed one time, enough to get those germs, those fomites in the air, and then now people are exposed to it. So again, staying away from large groups and congregations, and that's been the reason why we've had this social distancing, canceling concerts, canceling basketball seasons, canceling the NCAA finals, because we don't want these large groups of people congregating and spreading the virus to others. Again, when we talk about testing, there's testing available, it's quite expensive. We don't have universal testing like we have testing for the strep throat and for the viruses at this time. So again, if you're having those symptoms, please, I implore you, do not go to the hospital, do not go to the doctor's office, call. Now, if you're having severe respiratory problems and it seems like something is going on, you have to go to the hospital. But again, we're trying to avoid spreading the virus to other people that might be healthy. And that's why I don't want sick folks in the lobbies of my primary care office, because they could expose others to the illness. And how is it treated? Currently, we have no vaccines to prevent it. We have no medications to treat it. And that's the case with most viruses. We had nothing to treat Ebola, nothing to treat SARS, nothing to treat MERS. So what we're trying to do, our primary goal is prevention, preventing individuals from being exposed to this virus, and hopefully we will prevent others from dying.
Give me that last phrase again.
All right. Sure, I forgot what I say. What was I talking about?
You were talking about social distancing.
Yeah.
I heard the door open.
Should I see? So social distancing is very, very important. And it's one of the primary reasons why we're not having church today, why we're not having congregations. We're canceling concerts, we're canceling the NCAAs, we're canceling finals, we're canceling NBA seasons. The reason we're doing this is we want to reduce the exposure as much as possible and keep people from getting infected. It's not going to 100% totally eliminate it, but it will prevent this disease from spreading in a rapid way. And hopefully by that time we can study the virus, come up with vaccines and or treatments. And there are some treatments in trial right now, and I don't want to go into too much detail because that's not a promised land, but there are some medications that may actually slow the progression of the disease. Again, for viral illnesses, we don't have a cure. Think about this. We don't have a cure for the common cold, so how easy is it going to be to come up with a cure for something like SARS, Ebola, or Corona or COVID-19? So guys, I implore you to wash your hands. Keep your hands off your face, that T-zone, the eyes, the nose, and the mouth. You need to wash your hands for at least 20 seconds. 20 seconds, lather good, warm water, dry them well. If you're using towels in your public places, I always take the towels and grab the door, because again, those germs can be held on, set on the door, and throw that in the trash after you've opened the door. I keep hand gel with me, guys, all the time. I have a 19-month-old son who stays and everything, so the hand gel rolls with Doc all the time. And so I was doing that before COVID-19, but again, I implore you now to use some of those same precautions that you were already doing. Some people say, hey man, what should I be doing? What you should have been doing before. Making sure that you're washing hands after interactions with folks, covering your mouth when you cough, and trying to protect those that you love. I thank Elm Grove so much for having me today, and Pastor Domingue. This is very, very important stuff. If I could leave you with one message, do not panic, but be very cautious and educate yourselves on what's going on. Go to the CDC website as well to find out more information. CDC.gov has all the newest and latest updated information on the coronavirus. Thank you so much for this opportunity. Stay safe, and may God bless you all.
Hey man, you know, this wouldn't be church without us giving you an opportunity to sow into the kingdom, to sow good seeds such that we can continue to do the work of ministry, to lift up our community and to lift up one another. And so we're going to ask you that you participate in the offering, even if it is virtual. You can give online several ways. One, you can go to our website and click the Give button and follow the instructions from there. Secondly, go to our church app. That's the way I give, man. In fact, I have set it up such that it takes the money automatically. And so you can go to our church app, or if you want to, you can give via text messaging. You see, you can give by texting your amount to 225-442-9888. 225-442-9888, and just follow the prompts. Amen. Again, thank God for you. I'm glad you worshiped with us today. I hope that word was a blessing to you. In fact, I'm rather sure that it is. Meditate on that scripture this week. Let God speak to you just like God spoke to me. Use your notes from the message, man, and I'm sure that we will be encouraged and we'll be able to give others encouragement at a time like this. Again, man, I want to thank you all for worshiping with us. Just want to give you some announcements before we go, because we have to remain connected. Even though we're not gathering in the sanctuary, we'll still remain connected. Please know that at 6 o'clock this coming Wednesday, we will have Smart Church. It will be virtual, but we'll have Smart Church 6 o'clock this coming Wednesday. Also, don't forget to follow Dr. Domingue and myself on the various social media outlets, if you would, please. Don't forget that on tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock, we will have our time of prayer. You can certainly check out the prayer time, be a part of that powerful time in the Lord and together. Dial the numbers that are on the screen there, 1-515-604-9014. Do not forget to join us in prayer. Also on next Sunday, before the worship experience at 8 o'clock, you can tune in for Sunday school, the Sunday school lesson at those same numbers. It's a conference call, but you can still get the word. I'm so blessed and glad that our church here at Elm Grove, we're involved in doing ministry at this time. And so we've already been serving the children of our community on Friday evenings, Friday afternoons. We're giving them meals, but the ministers of the Elm Grove Church have decided that on Wednesday they will provide breakfast from 8 to 9 o'clock and then lunch from 12 to 1 o'clock. We're going to keep working to make sure that we are partnering with our school system to feed our children. Again, man, I thank all of you for worshiping with us. Please stay tuned to Elm Grove social media outlets for announcements. You'll be getting text messages, emails. We're going to get the word out the best we can during a time like this. Glad you were worshiping with us. Please allow me to pronounce the Lord's blessings on your life and have a wonderful day. And now, with everything that is in us, even with the threat of dis-ease, the Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. The Lord lift his face upon you and be gracious unto you. The Lord lift up his countenance unto you and give you peace.